project today is going to be to take these insanely bright LED lights, reading lights, and an Airstream, and add a dimmer to them to make them more functional. So to remove these lights, you have this trim ring, you have two screws here. It's very easy. What I would suggest, sorry for the wobble there, is to tape this trim ring up, because you don't need to remove it, and then it's not a big deal, but it just makes it easier, and you don't forget to put it back on when you're putting it back together. So you have two Phillips head screws here and here. I'm going to go ahead and remove them, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so the screws are removed, and this one had a ton of loose wire on it. Sometimes I'm told the ones over the bed do not. This is over our dinette. I've already done the other side of this, and it did not have this much wire. So what all I'm going to do is to cut above these connectors. And notice, a lot of times we think black is negative. In this case, the black is positive, the white is negative, and that continues. The red becomes positive and the white is negative. So 12-volt systems, a lot of times you'll find black is positive. So just be aware of that as you move forward. We're going to cut above these connectors, and then we're going to move into the bench. So this is what you're going to need for the project. You'll need a drill with a 3/8 bit, a pair of cutting dikes, wire strippers, a small pair of pliers, a Phillips screwdriver, some butt connectors or splice connectors of some sort. You'll need 4 of them for each light. You'll need the light, obviously, and then this is a PWM or phase width modulator type LED dimmer knob. This came off of Amazon. It's the Osmium brand. They are, I want to say, as of September of 25, they are about $30 a piece. So this is what comes in your LED dimmer switch box. You have the dimmer. It's a 3-wire switch. You have the nut to go on the dimmer. And then you have 2 knobs. You have a black knob, obviously, and an aluminum knob. And that was why I chose these, because of the aluminum knob. Now, it's not a perfect match for the brushed nickel look of the Airstream, but it's pretty good. It's acceptable. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take our little pliers and take that nut off. I'm going to loosen the one from the inside, so that I don't scratch the outside too much. Once I loosen the one on the inside, the one on the outside will just be easy to do hand tight. And I'm going to cut this wire the black wire coming from the hole of the light. I'm going to cut it real close because I want to keep the length on that just to make it easier to work with. So we'll cut it and then we'll strip it. So once we've got that switch out and the wire cut and stripped, the next step is we need to drill this hole out larger, since this obviously won't fit. So if you can, and it's kind of hard when you're enlarging a hole unless you're using like a Dremel. I'm using a 3/8 bit. If you can cheat the hole a little bit towards the base versus towards the light. That can give you a little more space, and it'll center it a little bit more, but it doesn't make a big difference. So I'm going to take and drill into that 3/8 hole, and then I'll show you mounting. All right, so we've gotten that hole bored out. The dimmer just slides right in there like that. I set my wires, it doesn't make a difference. I set mine up towards the top. Doesn't really make any difference. Actually, I'm going to turn them a little bit to the side, because getting the knob on can be a little hard, and I had to take and put some pliers over the whole unit to press the knob down all the way last time. So we're just going to thread this nut on. Okay, and get that tight. Yeah, you may want to use your little pliers, and then you push this knob on. Wires out of the way. So careful pushing that you don't compress this base. So what I actually did was to take a pair of big channel locks. I put a rag over this end and put them on the back and kind of pressed it gently on. I'll do that in a second with this one. So I'll put a little rag over this end. Channel locks on the whole unit and gently squeeze the knob on. So there we go. You can see it's on and good and snug. So now next step is to wire up the white out of the switch is going to go to the negative of the LED. So in this case, it's going to be white to white. So I'm going to cut these both somewhere about here, and I'm going to use one of these connectors. And so we'll cut it, we'll strip it, we'll put one of these connectors on and crimp that. So we've got our white wires cut and stripped. We're going to just hold them tightly and evenly. Give them a gentle twist. Slide this covered splice on and use our pliers to crimp it. Give it a good squeeze. I like to give them a little pull, make sure they're nice and tight. Yeah, just make sure nothing's going to come out. So next we're going to deal with the red wire. The red wire is going to go to the black wire on our lamp, and then it's also going to go to the power on the RV. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, so it's about the same length as what you see there. Sorry, the lighting's not great. And then I'm going to strip it, and we're going to use another one of these, one of those style connectors on it. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to, leave yourself a little wire to work with. It makes things easier. So we'll go ahead, cut that. And strip it. I'm going to strip this end of this as well. Twist. We're going to join all these together. So what this red wire here is doing is actually the switches takes power of its own. Is my understanding. It's pulse width modulation. Pulse width modulation switch. So it needs its own power. So that's what we're doing. You're essentially splicing that into the positive line connection, and then the dimmer portion works on the negative leg of the circuit coming back from the lamp. So, all right, I'm going to check all those because so did not do a good job of that. I'm going to recut and strip and fix that. So if you have a 12-volt power supply, I have an old transformer from charging, probably a cordless drill or something that I keep around for testing things like this. So I want to test it on the bench. I'm connecting that up, And yeah, we got light. So everything, we'll test the dimmer. Yep. Yeah, and it's just flickering because I don't have a great connection. That's all. So, but yeah. So it's good to test before you take it out and try to install it. All right, so we're back in the camper now. I've stripped these wires. When you're doing work like this, where you have to fish something through a hole, I like to stagger my lines. I don't cut them both the same size, and I've done the same on the lamp. And what that does, it generally just makes it easier to fish the connectors through the hole, so you're not ending up with them stacked, um, going going through the hole together. In this, because we're working at it from this side, it doesn't really matter. But if you were in a situation where you were pulling from the other side, it just makes things easier. So the next step is we're going to take and connect our wires with these little butt splice connectors, and then screw the light back up. Um, there's a little pointer for that, and that is just start one screw, start the other screw, and then tighten them up, versus trying to tighten one all the way up and then find where the other one is. If you leave the lamp hanging enough, you can see to line up the screws. It's a lot easier. All right, so here's the end result. This is a fairly easy project. A little bit of logic and some wiring skills. It's all pretty self-explanatory, but the pictures show you how to do it in the wiring diagram, and it's just a matter of buying two switches and making it happen.